There we go. All right. That's awesome. Stream looks like it's up and running. A little creepy there at the beginning because I was trying to figure out what was going on between the two sides, but I think we got it done successfully. So where to start? Oh yeah, my name's Tim. This is the Corvus Cast, and you know it's a place where the host isn't particularly attractive, the jokes really aren't that funny, and everything's just made up anyway. So, welcome back after a really long break. It has been an extensively long holiday season with all kinds of things that happened. I got sick and had all kinds of other stuff happen that set me back there at the end of the year, but really, really successful opportunity we had, and now looking to start 2025 resurgent. Unfortunately, um, crazy stuff happened, and so just getting us back on pace here for the start of the year. So some really big things happened over the course of the last 2 to 3 months, and so the the things I guess we want to talk about, the things we got to do is get after it. So if you're tuning into the stream, I just went live, and I'm hoping that there's no technical issues. The big piece here is that the first is we've transitioned to a new platform for all of our streaming or our live stream. And so the stream is now going to be hosted on YouTube. So if you are paying attention to the Discord and you're paying attention to Facebook, you should be able to get over here onto the stream so that we can get you picked up. Looks like I got folks responding. I'm hoping that we're not having issues. It's a public stream. And there we go. We got one person picked up. I appreciate that. So also, if you're just joining the stream, thank you for joining, number one. And number two, if you didn't notice and you're in my Discord, I've started a new channel called the Corvus Cast stream. So I'm not going to try and overwhelm all the other channels that we have going on in the in the roost there, or in the murder. We're going to go ahead and drop down into the Corvus Cast stream. So that's where all of our live discussion is going to stay, and it'll keep like a running tally of all the information that we talk about. So if somebody comes up with a really good idea, we'll be able to do that. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Really big piece is we migrated and changed the streaming platform for this year, and so the Corvus Cast is now going to reside on the YouTube channel. I think that's going to give us a lot more visibility and a lot more opportunity to get more reach and get our name out there a little bit farther. And so, one of the issues that I've been having lately is that there's just not enough people that are looking for lightsaber stuff. It seems like we're getting a good flow, but there are a lot of people who are repeat customers. That's weird. Yeah, people having troubles getting access to the stream, so I'm hoping to pick people up, and they'll come along here in just a couple minutes, and we'll get some viewers to pop up. We'll see. So I also want to apologize if my voice goes a little hoarse. I'm about 3 or 4 days out now from having lost my voice for about four days, and so I'm just getting back to the point that I'm able to have my voice again, and I'm getting myself nice and spooled up here. My job uses my voice. My day job uses my voice a lot. Anyways, so again, transitioning that train of thought over, new streaming service. We'll be hosting things in the stream, and I'm just going to let everybody know. That the Corvus Cast stream channel is in the Discord lobby there that we can use to have discussions for the cast specifically without bombarding the murder with everything that's going on. So I'm gonna drop in there, and if you guys are hearing this chat or hearing me talk about this, then we'll go ahead and have our discussions in there. Second thing that happened, and I kind of did it. I did it quietly. I let everybody know in the Discord, and I think across Facebook, but I don't know how widely it reached. I renamed the saber system, or my saber system, and I renamed it to the alloy system. And that alloy system, the intent behind my project there was to unite basically the LGT and Nexus VHC lightsaber system and the TXQ modular system and bring them together. And I thought alloy was a really good idea, and it's also kind of tongue in cheek because we use aluminum alloy for all of the lightsabers, and then also a lot of the accent parts that we use like copper and bronze are also alloys. So it's kind of like a triple entente, if you will. And so the idea is make sure everybody understands alloy and what it does, and then make sure everybody is tracking all the changes. Today, also for the new year, I did some refreshes on the channel, or excuse me, some refreshes on the website. I shuffled some pictures around to give it some more visual interest, and I did some adjustments to naming conventions as well to align all of those things to kind of the idea and understanding of what the system is supposed to represent. So everything should now have a nomenclature that goes something like adapter or extension or body segment or choke, and then some of the other structure inside of it. And as we get further along and people begin to understand that that alloy is a primarily female system with male adapters, some of those male and female nomenclatures may drop off, and it will just be choke type 1, choke type 2, and people will begin to understand that is. And so, I had a cool interaction earlier today on our lightsaber, our lightsabers Discord, where someone had never heard about what I was doing, and they taken a pretty intense interest to it there for a little bit, and had a really nice discussion with them, and they offered services for designing things of all that. So while I appreciate the outreach there and the offer, we do a lot of our design work in-house, or I do a lot of our design work in-house, and I do it on the streams so that everybody can see what I'm doing. I don't pull punches. I don't hide anything from you guys usually. Everything that you've seen developed on the stream so far has been pretty solid, and I've even gotten some of it taken straight into production from the stream. So over the course of the next year and over the course of the next 52 weeks. So we do half of that, 24 to 25, 26 streams. We'll do some more Let's Design sequences, and we'll get some of these parts out there. I have an entire list already plotted out for this year, and so I don't want to tip my hand to everybody and let everybody know what's going on. I'm really interested in having you guys take bait and lure you in for more parts. So that's a part that I want to get through, but I don't want to tip my hand just yet and explain all the stuff that's going on. But I've got a list of adapters. I've got a list of female components that are on my chart of things that I want to get done, and then tackling one of the really big projects that's coming through that just went to prototype. So we got all these pieces. So I just want to recap. Last year was really successful for my first year, and it's all thanks to you, to everybody that hung around and supported Corvus Saber Foundry. So I really appreciate you, and I hope that you stick around into the next year. Apologies if it sounds like there's a party going on upstairs. My wife and kids are watching football, and it's playoff season, so it's really heated. Let's go team. Let's go sports ball. I take part in that too, but tonight was the cast, and it's really important to get this first one out. So I don't know if you knew this, but last year I launched, Corvus Saber Foundry launched 33 new parts, never before seen parts, into the VHC space, which was really important to me, and it really proved that I had an opportunity to be super successful, and while it wasn't super lucrative, just getting my start, it became a lot more than that. And, I'm okay with not making any money if more of these parts get out there and people find passion in building these lightsabers. So, I'm going to keep doing this for as long as everybody's supporting it. And then when that starts to fall off, we'll see where we end up from that point forward. But yeah, hey, I see that there's now 2 or 3 viewers. Excuse me, just jumped to 3 viewers. So we're almost up to our max limit. We got to be careful we don't max out the stream, because I don't want too many people to be on here. I'm just saying. And so I want to apologize. The stream isn't going to be super entertaining. It's mostly just going to be me talking kind of about the state of Corvus Saber Foundry and like the direction that the Foundry is going to go in the next couple of months. And then also I want to talk about the new parts that we released, which is going to be over here behind me. And I have a super aggressive light that I'm going to turn on, and you'll see it here in just a second when I start doing the parts demo piece of it, which before I only had 3 components. I had all 3 one of each item. Now I've got a handful of them over here, so you'll be able to see them kind of together in the way that they were intended. So I'm really excited to show you that. And so, like I was just saying, we released 33 parts this year. I actually developed the 30, 34, 35, and 36 in the previous year, but because of the way the holidays fell, the factory was not able to produce until after the new year. So we lost a couple of steps. It would have been 36 in the year, and to be honest with you, it was developed and produced through prototype all the way up to, I think it terminated, like they finished it at the end of 2024, literally like the last day, or like 2 days after Christmas they finished it, and so it was done. So we did 36. We produced 36 parts. 33 of them were active at the turn of the year. 30, and we just launched 30 all the way through 36 into this year. So the first 3 new parts this year. And again, all thanks to you and everybody who supported for this. And so the goal this year, again, for me is going to be to hit 33 parts. How we get to that, I don't know. We'll see. But we'll see where that goes. I'm gonna go ahead and jump over here. I'm gonna move my mic. I gotta pick it up and shift it. I'm gonna turn off this camera and turn on the next camera. And here comes the light over here on the side. It's gonna be real garish because I don't have a great camera, or I don't have a great light set up on this side. So I'm really kind of frustrated with that. So here goes. I'll drop it off here real quick and turn it back on. And if anybody is curious or have taken notes, I have reverted back to my original setup, which was putting the camera here in front of the face, so that you guys can see everything that I'm working with, because honestly the light box is this big. You know, you can kind of see the width of it right here, just barely. And it was just too small for me to be able to work in and do anything functional to execute on, you know. And so it came with a really bright light, and I'm hoping that light, as being as bright as it is going to be the thing that we'll be able to demo with. So hopefully it's not too bad, and you guys can see what I'm working with here. I put some gloves on so that you guys don't have to look at my janky fingers because they've been beat up from years and years of working on aircraft and doing stuff, and they have not quite turned back to normal in my civilian life. So I don't have a ton of Vire or LGT parts over here, but I do have a fair bit of my own. So I'll just go ahead and grab out some of the different parts that I've got available here. Grab a Type 3, a Type 4, a Type 5, and a Type 2. Got a whole parts collection over here off screen that you guys can see. So just wanted to show you guys these pieces. So this is the Type 1 as it's labeled on the website, and there's quite a bit of glare. I'm trying to cut that glare down, but it's a little bit difficult to do. This is your Type 1, and so it has a flat on what I consider the top side. That's where the shim cert is located at, and then a bevel on this bottom side, and it's really delicate. I can see if I can get it really close, as close as I can get, so you can just barely see that bevel. The reflection of the glove there is going to give you a decent look at that bevel, and once I get it put on, you'll be able to see it. So again, I say that these are kind of treated as caps. You can treat them as a band if you wanted to, and if you're mechanically or modificationally, that's a made-up word, if you're mod inclined, you can stick this on a belt sander and you can take that bevel off, and now you have a flat band, and then you can round these two pieces with a little bit of handwork, and now you have a different look completely, right? You can even take this down further towards what would be an accent ring if you really wanted to make it something unique for, that doesn't seem like it's mass produced. And so, and just to give you, I don't want to do this in steps, kind of all the way up the demo here, to give you an idea on what this looks like with the two parts, right? So the depth on this is right at about 16 millimeters, and so your part 2 here is just at 33 millimeters, and so you're going to be able to get this to kind of nest inside of these two. It's not a perfect nest. And so you'll probably have to put I think this is 16 and a quarter or so. It's not a perfect nest. And so you can see just a little bit of that pokes out, and it slides down through. So putting one of the male adapters underneath of it is probably best practice, so that you get a little bit of a gap on it, but I don't know why you would want to smush these two together aside from just making something. I'm not judging. You can do whatever you want to do with these parts, but just to give you an idea, that the number two does not do does not it fully nests inside of there. It doesn't give you a complete touch on that inside portion, right? And so transitioning, kind of stepping up to the number three here, or the type 3, excuse me. The type 3 gives you about the width of a about the width of a VHC band in between it. And so just also, since I have one on hand, and to give it some perspective, you can see that the VHC band fully sits inside of there. So it'll fully hide a VHC band, and that was a design choice. Because some people just need something to extend a saber just a little tiny bit, and you might want to put something over it or give it a little bit of a cosmetic covering, just to keep your saber in the design or shape that you want. And so it gives you an opportunity to cover that up, so you don't have any extra holes or any different formatting floating around. And the same holds true basically with this one as well. It pretty well covers it up, but you'll still see that gap. And I'll come back to that in just a minute. So anyways, this is your Type 1 covering up the Type 1 ring, or Type 1 accent cap, covering up the Type 3 body component there. It doesn't look too bad. As we get farther, as we get deeper into the components, it starts to look a little bit better. And I have the other pieces here, and I'll start playing around and moving them just a little tiny bit. I do wish that my my YouTube chat was operational. I don't understand why it's disabled for this live stream. So we'll have to figure that one out, and we'll come back to it. But anyways, this is the Type 1 accent cap on top of the Type 4 body component, or body component Type 4 as it's now renamed. And so you can see we're starting to get a little bit closer to what that cap shape looks like in a saber. And so once we start putting pieces in between them, you'll see this start to come to life really, really quick. And again, here's the 105 millimeter, your 105 millimeter Type 5 body component. So you can see that has a really nice, fetching cap like look to it. I'm gonna put a male adapter, a 33 millimeter male on that end. And I don't really have much of a cap down here, but we'll treat this as a pommel. Basically, this is a Vire Avatar band. And so now you have a pretty well full-length grip section with the two bands at the top of it, and it gives it kind of a nice step-down look to it. Again, if you're just joining the stream, would like to point you to the Corvus Saber Foundry Discord. I don't have an invite out. I should probably put the invite in the live stream information, so that everybody can get access to the Discord that wants to have access to the Discord if you have it. But that's where the stream chat is located, under the Corvus Cast stream channel. If you want to pop in there and drop a line, or drop a chat message or something like that to me. I'll let you just look at that for a second while I grab a quick drink, because I'm off camera, so that's going to work out pretty nicely for me. All right, so that's a pretty decent look at the Type 1, kind of all the way through the different constructions of it, or the different, I guess, variations on how you can fit these pieces together. And I'll go ahead and grab out a couple of other pieces here really quick. We'll just leave that, and I'll throw on something pretty simple here. Here's a type. Oh gosh, I can't. Now I'm gonna get put on the spot. I don't remember this band type. This is one of the accent rings from previous development, released early 2023, and I want to say it's like the Type 2.1 maybe. I think it's the Type 2.1. It's got, or Type 2 or Type 2.1. It's got the bevel on it, which looks really nice when you contrast it with the bevel on this end as well. So, when you start putting these pieces together, you could obviously put this on the top, or you could flip this over and put it on the bottom. And so you can start getting some really interesting, unique looks. And I think that these caps are going to shine when you start getting into builds that utilize the smaller grip segments. And I'll use this as an opportunity to transition over to the Type 2 grip cap. And so this is the Type 2 grip cap, and it might be a little tough to see. I'll try and bring it up into the light so you can get a glint, a reflection off of it. There's a little bit of embellishment on this band, and this top side here, where the bevel is located at, is where you have your oh my gosh, my brain stopped. The shimsert portions, right? So each one of these accent line products have a shimsert portion in here that's 0.5 millimeter in depth, or 0.5 millimeter in thickness, and so it fits just perfectly over top of whatever your part. And so on any sort of VHC components like this, you're going to slide it over either end, and if you do it on the female end, you're going to need to make sure you put in a male type adapter, either one of mine, or you can get one. I'll give a shout out to Vire Savers. They have a stealth adapter that will fit in here really nicely. I think I've got one here. I just don't know exactly where it's located at. Give me a second to see if I can track it down. Whoop, making a little bit of noise there. Nope, can't find it. I'll figure out where it's at, and I'll get it out there. But anyways, this one has the bevel on the top side of it, so when you start connecting the pieces together, you'll see a different shape than this one. And I can put these two in comparison, so you can see the Type 2 band and the Type 1 band, and that bevel is on the bottom of the Type 1, whereas the bevel is on the Type 2, the top of the Type 2. And purposely made that way by design, so you get a little bit of variation in the different parts that are here. And this one is going to be a lot of fun when you start doing builds with the smaller segments, like these smaller grip segments. So you can get one of these small pieces on here, and you can get this longer. We'll go ahead and, oh, sorry, rest in peace your ears. Oh, it was too loud. We'll switch over to a number 2, or another number 3, and I'm going to put these in between, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. An opportunity when you can start splitting these grips, and so you could do this with the smaller segments and make really interesting, like 105 millimeters. So this is, and this was a design choice, right? I made these as close as I could to this 105 millimeters, and it gives you a little bit of wiggle room on the top side when you start adding adapters, and it'll give you a little bit of wiggle room on the bottom side when you start adding adapters to make it just a smidge longer, right? So these male adapters are 2.25 or so millimeters in thickness. So if you add 2, you're going to get 5 more millimeters of distance, 110 millimeters in total. And so you're going to have a grip segment here that's going to be pretty close to 105 millimeters once it's all said and done. And so, doggone it, I did that. And so unfortunately, the next round is going to have another cap like this, but inverted, so that it will kind of match, and you can figure out how to put these together. But you could basically make some really cool embellished grips for your saber. Here's another one. You can kind of treat it like that. There's a nice top and bottom area. So you got the in-betweens and then the tops and bottoms. But using the accent rings or the accent caps in whatever fashion to get there. And usually I get people that throw some stuff up in the chat, and I haven't seen anybody throw anything in the chat, so I'm a little sad about that. I like the interaction. If people want to throw stuff up there, I keep checking to see if people are making comments or saying, "Dang, I keep dropping these things because these gloves are slippery." Now, I'm sorry about your ears. I really do apologize. So anyways, we're going to go back to this Type 5, and I'll show you what I really like about the Type 2 accent caps as they fit on here. And it's just that they look really, it makes these components look really, really complete, right? It looks like a finished, polished product, not just a tube. And that was kind of the vision that I had of using these. And I've got a couple of these smaller adapters here, so you can kind of see the difference in depth, right? So this was a 31 millimeter male adapter with the Type 2 ring. Let's see if I can get it up kind of close-ish without the light killing it. Nope, it's not going to do it. I'll get down here, I guess. So you can see the I got a comment in the middle. Let's see. All chat. I guess I missed that. All chat messages. I don't know why it's doing that. I'll have to figure that out later. I don't know why my filter is all chat. That's okay though. We'll come back to it. Change your filter to all chat. I guess I'm getting old. I don't know where the filter is located at for the stream. So I'm editing the channels, trying to get to the filters. Let's look at it here. Slow mode, no. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll have to mess around with it here real quick and yep. Nope, not doing it. It's not a thing. Not sure why it's doing that. All right, well, we'll figure it out in a little bit. I'm not sure why it's filtering. Anyways, point being, we were looking at the Type 2 accent caps and adapters and all these pieces kind of fitting together here. So I don't really have a, well, let's see, I do. So I've got a whole saber here, and we'll show you what this basically looks like on a whole lightsaber, right? And that 105 millimeter depth there puts that cap kind of right at the end. So you're definitely going to need an adapter or something on the end of that to temper the sound, but it will end up getting you to a really nice combination on your lightsaber here. So as some more parts start coming online, I've got some designs for additional pieces that are gonna start adding some of these larger segments up here to the north of that switch segment, and so hopefully we'll start seeing more components for these VHC and alloy that will expand this diameter outward just a little bit, and even longer ones of these as well that will run a little bit farther up these components. So that's something that's in the works. It's something that I've been kind of pursuing for a little while, and I'm really interested in seeing it come to fruition. I'm going to go ahead and put this on here and give it a little bit of depth, a little bit more depth. Okay, so now you can see we have a decent sound well there for the speaker to operate in. And just for grins, we're gonna put on this guy. This is for funsies, just to make sure we have a pommel on the end of it, right? And so one of my goals has been to get these lightsabers towards a comfortable 10 to 12 inches as my goal, right? Just to get them into that fit range where you're not quite in the long boy category, but you're not in the Shoto category either. And I just thrown this on for funsies. So this is an emitter you can find at Vire Sabers. It's an LGT type emitter called the Odyssey, I think is what it was. And so it gives a nice change in diameter in between here. It has a nice nesting effect that fits inside of the palm of your hand if you didn't want to use the choke to wield your saber as well. So getting to that, I wish that I had a high enough. I wish that the camera was high enough up that I would be able to show you guys all of that. And granted, this combination isn't perfect. It doesn't quite flow all that perfectly, so maybe we'll play around with something else here really quick and drop another piece in here really fast. Let's take that off and let's grab a choke, a different type of choke. And we're just playing around with parts right now, trying to find a fit that we like here. So I'm gonna drop a different choke on here really fast, and that resonates real nicely. I like it a lot. Yeah, not a huge fan of that one, but All right. Well, this one goes a little bit farther. This was an old. Um, oh gosh, where did I get that from? This is an old LGT piece, not old LGT piece. This is an old emitter from Age of Sabers. I think that this design ended up getting sold to another saber company. I think Rebel Sabers are producing something based off of this. It was from the Jaina lightsaber. I still really like it. It's a great design. It's a lot of fun, and it's just a little bit big for what we've got put together here. But this is, let me see if I can find something to measure it with. Yeah, hang on a second. I've got the ruler. I've got a ruler here just at the edge of the screen. You can see it at the top. It is not quite to the 11 inches mark. It's just off to the side. See it? I can see it. Yeah, there we go. The parallax is going to mess it up from the camera, but that's okay. We got just at the 11.5 mark, and so if we got a little bit smaller emitter, or we started messing around with bringing the size down a little bit, you got yourself a pretty well put together lightsaber. It has all of the trappings of what a saber should feel like. It feels like it's got weight. These accent rings, accent caps, excuse me, bring a really nice heaviness, a weight to the lightsaber as well, and it gives it a really good feel once you're playing around with it and stuff. So I'm pretty sure that I could just take this and drop this straight in. This uses the Master Core. All of my designs, or excuse me, my Switch designs all rely on the Master Core, which I think gets rid of the. It's the shorter of all the cores, and it gets rid of the USB charging port, I think, that would be up here. And so, well, we got a pickle there because I don't have the right pieces to go in there. So give me a second here. And that's the beauty of working in this structure, is that there is a female component available, and we can slap it on there and we can make something happen, right? There we go. Now we have a little bit more. And this is that ends up going to the new, excuse me, not the new, but the relatively new extension, a female extension, type 1. And that's just to add a little bit of visual interest at the midpoint there at the saber, right underneath of that I guess mini Suba or micro Suba. But it gives it a really nice feel right there at that point. It's good. Pretty fetching. I dig it. And then we'll kind of shift over, last but not least, to a slightly different component here, which is the third one, which I'm calling an accent band, and it's been posted up on the internet. So I guess you can't put it on the internet if it isn't true. The accent band is the one that I'm really fond of, which is one that's kind of themed after a Graflex, right? And so it has these a pair of clusters of 3. Yeah, a pair of 3 lines on either end of it that kind of are reminiscent of a Graflex band, and you can see them glinting there in the light as we're playing around with it. But I'm gonna throw this on up here, and I'm gonna stick a part up here on it. And we're gonna take a look at it really fast. Okay, and there it is. It's really plain. It's really cool. I think that it's one of the funnest parts that I've got here, just because it has that resemblance to, just enough of a resemblance to that Graflex part, that Graflex band, that it puts it directly into alignment for, like, a Star Wars part. What's a Star Wars part? That looks like a Star Wars part. Has just enough of that original trilogy feel, like it belonged to something else that wasn't a lightsaber, that found parts legacy, we'll call it. So I'm gonna keep calling it, And you can combo these pieces together and make them look whatever way you want to. That actually looks pretty good too. I like that. And if you had a different segment down here, you could put a ring on it. You can do all kinds of stuff. You know, I don't even know, I can't count the number of ways that these things go together, and we'll take adjustment based on the different designs and items and parts that we've got available to us. But yeah, this is one of those things that there's like endless possibilities if you really wanted to. You know, if you wanted to, whoops, apologies there for your ears. You know, if you wanted to take this and run this up here on the top, you could put this right above your emitter, just like you would one of the other bands, except that because it looks like, you know, because it looks the way that it does, it has a little bit different feel to it. Let me throw a type 1. Let me try that one more time. Make my brain work this time. I'm going to drop a type 1 into here, and there's something I will warn you're going to have to be a little bit careful with is if you are not careful with it, you may end up getting a part. So because these bands will hide, they will hide just a little bit. It might be difficult to get these off if you get them torqued on there. And this is just fair warning. If you put a type 1 in there, you might be asking for a little bit of trouble. It's probably advisable to go with something like a type 2. Yeah. And just for the sake of doing it, I'm going to stick a type 2 in there so that I don't get in trouble on screen and run myself into an issue here. So as long as you have a part sticking out of it and you can get your hands on it, or a torque, some kind of wrench or a torque wrench or something on it to extricate it, shouldn't really be that big of an issue. Let me see, what else do I got over here? I got a couple of parts here. We'll pull this out. Got an emitter end. We'll just mess around with it. And again, this is all just for funsies. I'm just throwing pieces and parts together to see what sticks against the wall. But another example of different places that you can put the type 1 accent band. So you got that Graflex band up here on the top and a Graflex looking band here down on the bottom. I'm not saying that's the perfect place for it to go, but you know, you can fiddle around and figure out where you want to put that when you start doing this for yourself. Let me get some of these parts out of the way really quick. Starting to get overwhelmed with pieces. So all right, kind of coming back to it here. You know, that one has a pretty nice feel to it, and that comes in at like the shortest I think that I've made one so far, and that's at just about 9 inches, which is pretty good. It's not quite, it's just enough to get 2 hands on, but it feels like that classic, you know, the classic lightsaber feel, where it has a fair amount of length to it, but not too much that it can't be one-handed. See, not too much that it demands being two-handed, but just enough that you can two-hand it if you needed to. So lots of opportunities here for this design. And I'm actually gonna step away from the monitor, or you know, the mic here just for a second, and I'm gonna go get you a standard LGT switch just for grins, so everybody can see it, right? Stand by. All right, I can't remember what switch this is right offhand. It's been a while since I've played around with switches that aren't my own, and so it's, you know, unfortunately, I admit that. It's also been a while since I've gotten to just build lightsabers, as I've been kind of concentrating on doing a lot of the design work for these components and parts that you guys are now getting your hands into and playing around with, right? And so it's unfortunate that I I'm relegating myself to not doing lightsaber builds anymore, but I get to do this and have fun with you guys, so it's a lot more fun, I think, in my book. And so just give me 1 second here and quit making a bunch of noise. I think if I remember correctly, this one is the rook. I think that's the rook. And so I'm going to slip this over top of it. And this was an intentional design choice to make sure that these bands didn't come down far enough. This first set of bands didn't come down too far to cover up the recharge port for people that like to mess around with sabers with recharge ports. I think that that's going by way of the dodo, if I'm honest. I'm not 100% certain on that. But I definitely tried to make sure that these didn't descend so far that they covered up the items in question that you may want to be modifying or messing with. You know, I made mention I didn't really want to talk about future dev stuff, but some of the stuff that's on my radar is switch covers or switch shrouds. So something that will slide over top of this, probably in the same kind of size as these, about the same diameter on the outside. That will slide over top of the standard switches as well as my own switches, so that people can have an area that's shielded or beefed up or has a different look. I think right now I have a single design, which is like a Kestis design, which I'm pretty fond of. I like it, and I just don't know when I want to take it to production. It falls back on. So this is actually an older model too, just so everybody's aware of it. So the location of this screw, or this chassis anchor screw, or this actually is this was the chassis anchor screw or the push-up screw at one point, and it was a little far back on the switch components, and so that screw hole has been relocated over here into the middle. On pretty much all of the lightsabers now that LGT makes, they have that screw hole almost directly underneath of this switch button. That makes pushing that up further and in much more easily accessible and capable. And so this is a part that has gone into obsolescence at this point, and I think the only thing that it fits is the older. I think that maybe even the only thing that this fits anymore is pretty much the old baselets, and I think even the baselets have gone to a hole that's up in this location that you can push through. And elevate the switch PCB up into space, right? So each one of these kind of is fairly large size, I think, now compared to what my switch is, and that's not an issue. It's just a little bit different. These don't look quite as good on my switch, and I'll admit that, because they hang down and cover it up, just a smidge. And so until I can get a slightly longer adapter, so another item that I've got in the works is a set of adapters that will move this from 2 1/4 to 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 to 25, and so we'll have a smaller set we'll be expanding this set of adapters upwards so that you can gain some more distance in that adapter. You can put it in between the body components and have like a dipped in area. You can do all kinds of things with it. The sky's the limit. Once we start getting these things rolling, moving along, and doing the stuff that we want to do with it. But that was a tour of the new parts that just dropped. I'm super excited, and I'm glad that all three of you hung out for the length of the cast that you did. There's plenty more cast time left. We got about 15 to 20 minutes. So if let's see, I got some folks that had made mention of something in the murder. I guess the gain on the microphone is low. Well, the gain on my microphone is high, and so I must have to set the gain a little bit higher on the audio input. In fact, it's kind of maxing it out at this point. I'm hoping that you can hear better now, but it's pushing my audio input up into the orange when I speak. It might be because I'm just a little bit away from the microphone, or just separate, but not a big deal. We'll get you sorted out. A lot of the fun stuff here is just playing around with these parts and seeing where we get to. I I got a list in my brain. I'm gonna take one of these and I'm gonna make another Type 2, probably the 2.1, and I'm gonna put the bevel. I'm gonna make it flat on this end. I'm gonna put the bevel on the other end as well, so that we have a flush mounted end that looks really similar to this one here, so that we have a nice match, right? Because right now, the problem that we have is when you try to put this one, oh, I'm sorry, not that one. When you put the Type 1 on here, that bevel falls down on kind of the wrong end. And in my opinion, there should probably be one with a bevel like this that's flush, but one with a bevel on this end as well, or even one that has two bevels on it, so on the inside and on the outside. But either way, you're looking at if you wanted to make like a split grip, you could use like the Type 3 up here on the top and a Type 4 on the bottom, and put another adapter with two more of these. Pardon me. Sorry about that. Still got a little bit of a cough left. You put, one of these Type 2s in between, or I'm sorry, two of these Type 2s basically at this point with an adapter in between them on two of the smaller ones, or two of the smaller body components, and you would end up with a grip that has a lot of visual interest between the top and the bottom. I might just go grab another pair of these out of the pack real quick, and show you what I'm talking about, because I haven't actually done it myself yet. So it's stand by one. All right, I had to go grab some out of inventory really quick, and I'll break these out on camera here. So straight, fresh, right out of the packaging. I haven't gotten a chance to do this actual build yet, and I think that it's going to look pretty darn cool. So we'll go ahead and do the mess around part here, because they are flush. It's going to be really fun. I might end up having to make. So I've noticed that these are pretty close. I might have to make an intermediate size, like one that terminates like right here, and kind of fill in the gaps between, like the 3, the 4. Fill in the gaps between the Type 2, the Type 3, and Type 4 with an intermediate one for each of those. That's maybe a project that's later down the line. Who knows? We'll play around with that at some point, and get to something fun. But so we've got I got 4 of these Johnnies, and we'll go ahead and grab one of these adapters and have some fun playing around with what this is going to look like. So there's 1, 2. I'm going to put that on here like so. 3. And at this point, honestly, you're getting into territory with what's going to end up being a pretty pricey grip build. But I think that you're going to have. It'll be a little bit longer than a 105. It's it's probably about a 110 or 115, maybe 120 in the length there. And so you're getting into some distance there that might need to be trimmed up a little bit, but. You got a pretty good look at a grip with some visual interest here. I can probably pare that down if I wanted to, and drop it into a shorter category here. I think that's probably a good idea for this year. I might end up doing that with the parts, and coming up with a shorter version of these body components to fill out the in-between spaces, so we can land at that 105 to 110 range pretty easily. Sorry, I went quiet there. I had a little bit of a sneeze to get out. So here we go. There's the 2 parts coming together like I wanted to see it. Bam. That's a part that's got some real visual interest, and I'm going to come here and grab this. This is a Vire Sentinel, and this would be kind of where that's at in length, if the parallax or the camera lens will let me demo it correctly here. But it adds probably another. Let me see here. I got a ruler. I guess I could stop estimating and say how much it is. That's 130 millimeters. So it's going to come out It's probably about the same length as a Mentor. Yeah. So, you know, if you have a fondness for the Mentor grip, the Vire Mentor grip, this outcome here is about the same length as that. You know, I think I can drop this down a little bit further and grab a different component, and we'll do a little bit shorter combo and pull in, I think let's pull in this thing here. I'm just gonna throw these together really quick and hopefully get it to fit nice. Get it to fit nicely. Rest in peace, your ears. Sorry. Rip. Here we go. There's another cool one. This one is actually a lot closer to 105 than the other one was. And so maybe we'll start seeing some more of these shorter female components in here, so that we end up getting some closer to 105 counts than we could otherwise. I think also you could put a VHC band in between and get close to that 105 number. You could also put one of my VHC band equivalents, which is one of these Johnnies, and that would require 2 more adapters, obviously. But either way, you're looking at needing an adapter if you're going to make a build like that. That actually doesn't have a bad look, but it's a little too symmetrical for me. But it does look pretty cool. It's a little too symmetrical, but it's got a good look to it. I think that's probably about it for the show. We only got about 10 minutes left. Looking at maybe 9 minutes left in the stream. See if I can get a couple of builds that are kind of close to what we were talking about, that 105. I don't say the 105 is like the magical number. It seems like most grips are, you know, they're in that ballpark between 105 and 115. I have to find another one. I think I got another one over here. It's just a smidge longer, maybe. This is the Odyssey grip. I think nope, it's about the same. It's about the same. I think the 105 millimeter mark is like is generally like the VHC. Actually, I'm sorry, this is 109. My bad. 109 on that. So if you can get to that 109 mark, you know, that's kind of the magical number. 110 probably is a safe bet. Anything beyond that, a little bit too much, in my opinion. This is the Sentinel. And just to give you an example of what it looks like on a VHC piece of kit. You can slide this on either end there and give you a little bit of visual appeal, a little bit of different visual look. It actually looks a lot like speeder bike grip. I kind of dig that. Making some noises. Anyways, I was fiddling around here. I was going to try and grab a choke and throw it in between here just to see if I could do it. See how long that was going to be, because it has a habit of being a little on the long side. A little on the long side. Ah, hey, that's not bad. Okay. You find... Sorry, I have a lot of pieces apparently. I didn't realize that there were so many components in here that we were looking at. Pardon. So here's an example of 2 pieces kind of meshing together, right? This is the Vire VHC choke, and this is kind of got the similar length that I was talking about previously, where the parts are pretty symmetrical when you start putting the pieces all together, but it's got a really nice look to it still, and the gold makes it pop quite a bit. So I think that looks pretty good though. It's not bad. Gonna have to play around with it a little bit more. I think I'm definitely going to generate some more of those in between sizes on these items, so that we have a nice selection and variation of the parts in between all of these parts. I did kind of a canvas of what sizes I think we needed, which were these intermediate sizes that were similar in size to like the chokes, or similar in size to the extensions, so that they still fit inside the paradigm, and then other things that could go in between. And so I definitely think that having some additional variations in there, so like instead of a 50, I think it goes 33 to 50, like having a 40 millimeter in there, and then having another one in between the 80 and the 105 millimeter, so like a 90 something, 92 millimeter, and then another one in between the 50 and 80. So you have a lot more variations that you can get out of all of those parts. And you see a lot of different constructions that are close to that 110, range. So I'm gonna leave my toys hanging out where they're at right now. I'm gonna take a quick drink and I'll transition to the outro. Just stand by one. Okay, we are back. The screen did not transition the way that I wanted it to, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, that's the gist of it right now. Just had the new release of the caps, accent band. 3 new parts to start the year off right. Getting a lot of things going on. Really excited about what the next year brings, and I'm really excited about the next part that's coming, because it's going to be a really big one. And it's I think that it's going to be one of the cooler parts that we have that's going to be coming out. If anybody's been paying attention to what's happened in the different Discord chats, you've seen it. It's going to be big, huge. I don't really like that guy, but it's going to be huge. So I think that we're going to go ahead and wrap this up for the night. And if you're going to be playing a little bit of Helldivers tonight or doing something, I'm probably going to be on. I got some stuff I want to do, and I know that the major order is bugs. I think still. I think that dropped on Thursday, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. But anyways, not here about bugs. We're here about lightsaber stuff. So anyways, the new bands and the new caps are available on CorvusSaberFoundry.com. So get yourself over there, take a look at them, slap them on your lightsabers, and get some mileage out of them. I want to see the builds. I want to see pictures. I want to see you. I want to see you come over and join the Discord. Send me emails with your pictures. Do all the things. I want to see your builds. Hopefully that spurs you and drives you to make bigger and better things with the parts that we're putting together here at Corvus Saber Foundry. So I think that's going to be the night. I'm going to call it. My voice is starting to fade pretty fast and getting all coffee. So once again, my name's Tim. This is the Corvus Cast. I'm out. Peace out, guys.